very much. Thank you, sisters. Thank you. It is great to be here, and I appreciate that warm welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. God bless you. Oh, I appreciate so much that warm welcome. Thank you all. It is great to be here. Good morning, sisters, and I see some brothers out there too. Glad you made it. First, I'd like to thank Jane and Marjorie for their wonderful work and for their boldness, their courage. They're not backing down when they take heat. Sometimes I know that if my name's associated with something, you take a little bit of extra heat. I appreciate so much that you take it anyway. And thank you, Emily Buchanan, for all of your hard work with this organization. And Marie, the most beautiful song. That was gorgeous. Thank you so much for your talent, sharing that. And then the founders and the members of Team Sarah who are here, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, and I would ask that you would stand up so that I can put some faces out there to names, and I thank you so much. Thank you. Woo, talk about courage and boldness, you all. Thank you for the great work that you did in 08 during the campaign, and since then even, continuing to support and advocate for good common sense solutions and helping me get the message out there. I appreciate you so much. You know what I would always like to do when I'm in any kind of group is acknowledge those who allow us to be here free and secure. The members of our United States military. I know we have a lot of spouses of military members and moms of military members and daughters too. Those of you who are serving today in uniform or perhaps have served in the past, our veterans, you are who we want to thank and salute. And I would ask that members of our military, past or present, if you would stand up, we're going to thank you, salute you, say God bless you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. America's finest are men and women in uniform who are a force for good throughout this world, and there is nothing to apologize for that. God bless you, veterans. Thank you. And we do have these good candidates. I know that they have been listed today, but Robin Smith and Pam Bondi and Jane Norton and Kelly Ayotte. So happy that you are here today and that you are bold and that you're standing up for what is right, and you're putting it all on the line too. And I thank you for the courage that you're showing in running for office. This afternoon I'll be with Nikki Haley in South Carolina doing an endorsement there, and of course Carly Fiorina. You know, the credibility there that SBA allows a candidate to have, knowing that, oh, okay, I'm safe there endorsing Carly Fiorina. You all have endorsed her. You all get it. You understand that there in deep blue California, anyone who's running for office bold enough to declare their pro-life stands, they're pro-NRA, they're pro-business and development and anti-tax, anti-big government principles that they stand on. Here, she proudly proclaiming that, and yet some wanting to accuse her of kind of being a rhino. I say, no, they're in the deep blue California. If she's unabashedly pro-life and all those other common sense conservative things that she stands for, she's the real deal. And I appreciate you too being bold enough and strong enough to take a stand in that race and to take a stand in so many of these races across the country. I'm especially glad to be here celebrating life and doing it under the banner of one of my heroes, Susan B. Anthony. It's an honor to speak in the building named after another one of my heroes and many of yours, Ronald Reagan. This is an honor. President Reagan, of course, was always so supportive of women leadership. In fact, he often liked to tell a story about his good friend and another heroine, Margaret Thatcher. Reagan first met Thatcher before she became prime minister, and it was during a trip that he took to England while he was still governor of California. Reagan loved to tell a story about that trip. Apparently, he was a guest at a reception hosted by members of the British Conservative Party. And to use Reagan's own words, he said, Lord somebody or other came over to him and asked, well, what do you think of our Mrs. Thatcher? And Reagan said, I think she'd make a magnificent prime minister. And the British Lord said, "Oh, my dear fellow, a woman prime minister?" And Reagan replied, "Well, you had a queen named Victoria who did pretty well." And of course, Reagan was right about what a magnificent prime minister Margaret Thatcher was. And I admire the fact that Mrs. Thatcher, she never set out to be a woman prime minister, just a prime minister, and one of the greatest ever to have served, perhaps because she was a woman of action. Thatcher liked to say in politics, you want something said? Ask a man. You want something done? Ask a woman. That was her quote. So folks, in 2010, we'll remember this year, because we're going to accomplish a lot together this year. This year will be remembered as a year when common sense conservative women get things done for our country. All across this country, women are standing up and speaking out for common sense solutions, and many of them are grassroots activists leading, like the Tea Party movement, which I'm excited about because it's a beautiful movement. It's a movement of the people. These women are getting involved because they want a better future for their kids, for all of our kids. And these policies coming out of DC right now, this fundamental transformation of America that we were warned about in the campaign, well, a lot of women who are very concerned about their kids' future are saying, we don't like this fundamental transformation of America, this road that we're on towards national insolvency. We being beholden to foreign countries in so many respects now. We being under the thumb of big government with more of a disrespect for life, for the sanctity of life. We don't like that transformation. And to me, it seems like it's kind of a mom awakening in the last year and a half, where women are rising up and saying, no, we've had enough already. We're going to turn this thing around. We're going to get our country back on the right track, no matter what it takes. We're putting all of our efforts into these midterm elections to turn things around and put government back on our side, to respect the will of the people, not allowing government to make us work for it, but for our government to, again, work for us. The policies coming out of D.C. are allowing us to feel empowered, really, allowing us to rise up together, because moms kind of just know when something's wrong. It's that mother's intuition thing, I think. We can tell when things are off base, off course, they're not right, and we're not afraid to roll up our sleeves and get to work and get the job done, set things straight. Moms can be counted on to fight for their children's future. Now, again, part of that fight has to do with the grassroots movement that is full of Tea Party Americans, those who are saying, no, enough is enough. And what has amazed me about the Tea Party movement is how the media has reacted to the people who are involved and just want their voice heard, and saying, no, government, you're overreaching, you need to abide by our Constitution, and you have limited powers, federal government, and we're going to kind of explain to you and remind you what the Constitution's all about. That's what the Tea Party movement is all about. So there the media is, and they just kind of crack me up because they embed themselves in the Tea Party rallies, and they try to figure out just who are these creatures who are a part of this, these moms, these grandmas, these teens and college students, these doctors and lawyers and such, all walks of life, both genders, people of all races being a part of this movement. And yet the media has tried, but I think they've failed because Americans are smart enough to start holding the media accountable. But people there in the media trying to portray Tea Party Americans as racist and violent and all those things that they are not, that we are not. Just average, everyday, hardworking, patriotic, liberty-loving Americans who again have said, that's enough, federal government, that's enough of your overreach, and we're going to do something about it. Now, it's been clever, too, being a part of these Tea Party rallies, seeing some of the signs in the audience, and some of your signs today, too. You can learn a whole lot about what the sentiment is out there in the American public just by reading the signs in some of these movements. I think one of my favorite was a mom carrying a sign saying, my kid is not your ATM.